What is going on, my Houston Texans family? We are 16 days away from the NFL Commissioner Roger Dale walking across that podium and announcing the new franchise quarterback for our Houston Texans, Mel Kiper. He did his NFL two-round mock draft. We're going to react to that today. Also, some news for you guys. Some Texans and head coach D'Amico Ryan showed up to the stadium today. D'Amico Ryans was talking to the media. Aaron Wilson, who, like I mentioned before, does a great job covering the Houston Texans. I'm going to read off a couple tweets here. Now, Texans coach D'Amico Ryans didn't elaborate on team's plans for second overall pick or if team may or may not draft a quarterback at that spot. Another tweet, Texans coach D'Amico Ryans asked if team will trade up. He said, I won't get into any draft strategy. The Houston Texans are playing this very close to the chest, as they should. I've mentioned before, this decision with the number 2 overall pick, it is going to determine this Houston Texans for the next decade. It is that important. I love that they are not letting anything leave the stadium. We're going to react to this two-round mock draft today, guys. But before we do that, welcome everyone to the 713 Houston Sportcast. I drop daily Houston Texans content, so make sure you guys are coming back for more. Follow me on Twitter at 713HSP. And with the second overall pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Houston Texans select C.J. Stroud, quarterback, Ohio State. There's not much buzz about the quarterback Houston would prefer in this class, but I have little doubt new coach D'Amico Ryans is going to get one here. This class of passers is just too strong at the top. As I've mentioned before, the Texans need a face of the franchise to sell their rebuild to fans. Stroud is a smooth thrower with advanced mechanics in a 6'3 frame. He has all the tools to be an all-pro passer except for the talent around him. That's where Houston, which also owns the number 12 pick in this draft, needs to help. I expect general manager Nick Caserio to be aggressive in trying to add playmakers in the draft and also in May when a few veterans hit the open market. Now, CJ Stroud might be the most accurate quarterback in this draft. He has franchise quarterback written all over him. The main concern is, well, he had so much talent around him. One of the best offensive lines in college football, one of the best wide receiving, cores in college football of all time. Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Jackson Smith and Jibba, Marvin Harrison Jr. He is throwing to first round wide receivers, rookie of the year type of players. So there is some questions about whether CJ Stroud can live up, to the hype. However, the Houston Texans have been investing into their team, investing into their offense. No matter who the quarterback is, they made Laramie Tunsil the highest paid left tackle in the NFL, traded for Shaq Mason. The only, position of need on the O line is the center. The wide receiving group just got Robert Woods, a veteran, Noah Brown, a veteran. The Houston Texans might have to spend, some draft capital and money in the wide receiver group. They just got one of the best free agent tight ends on the market in Dalton Schultz. And finally, a running back combo that we are excited for of Damian Pierce and Devin Singletary, all the weapons that are going to be surrounding CJ Stroud. That gets me excited. So, yes, I do think the Houston Texans need to do more in getting weapons, but I do think they've done a good job themselves. Now, with the 12th pick, it gets interesting. You already know Jackson Smith and Jibba has been talked at 12 for the Houston Texans since pretty much the beginning of this draft. Now, the question is, how do the Houston Texans value the 12th overall pick right now? Before we do that, Jackson Smith and Jibba, this is the Texans' chance to take their pick of the wide receivers in this class. And we know JSN can be a star with CJ Stroud throwing him passes. What's not to like about this combo? Smith and Jibba has number one wideout potential, but he's coming off a long season because of a hamstring injury. He caught 5 passes and 42 routes during the entire 2022 campaign. He showed he was healthy at the combine, and I feel comfortable putting him in this range in round one. Houston has to add more talented pass catchers if it decides on another position. Keep an eye on the defensive line. We have no doubt JSN is going to be really good in the NFL, but with the 12th overall pick, and you heard Mel Kiper just say at the second, right, that they need to add more weapons. Well, the way you do that is by acquiring more assets, right? I would not mind JSN at 12. I would love that actually. But if you trade it back into the teens and take a Zay Flowers, like who goes 17th overall to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and you secure an extra second or third, then things get interesting for the Houston Texans. Now let's go to the second round and see where the squad landed, right? Now here at 33, they go someone we've been talking about, Felix Anudanke Uzama, defensive in Kansas State. I went all offense with Houston's two picks in round one, but he needs help on defense too. Uzama, who had 19 and a half sacks over the past two seasons, has a chance to sneak into the first round. A 6'3", 255 pounds. He is still developing his pass route moves. He plays through the whistle and can hold his own in the run game. He has the versatility to play in a 3-4 or 4-3 defense. Edge is huge for the Houston Texans. This is why I am saying maybe the best possibility is to trade back Felix Anudike. That would be, I'm sorry, Phoenix Anudike. That would be absolutely, good for the Houston Texans. 19 and a half sacks over the past 2 years. The Houston Texans need guys who can get to the quarterback. And the only question is, after this pick, you go pick 65. Let's look at where the centers are at, right? Is one going to fall to the Houston Texans? You see Osiris Torrance goes 38. That would be absolutely crazy, him being here. But the Houston Texans, like I said, traded for Shaq Mason. Joe Tippmann goes to the New York Jets. And this is what I'm saying, man. Center is huge for the Houston Texans. Do you prioritize it at the very top of the second round? I think the Houston Texans might have to do that, man. I really think that it should go quarterback, wide receiver, center, right? Or like Mel Kiper just did right now, he went quarterback, wide receiver, edge. My only issue is you leave a hole there at center. The Houston Texans starting center right now is Michael Dieter, who you just signed from the Miami Dolphins. I would have loved if they went out there and signed a veteran, but this is very good to me. I think that the Houston Texans, if they run out a CJ Stroud, JSN, and Felix Uzama, I would absolutely love that. I say they absolutely hit a home run, but I definitely think they could have done better. I think all odds and all signs show that the Houston Texans will trade it back. They did that last year, right? The Houston Texans had the 12th and traded back to the 15th. I think history will repeat itself. However, I do like this mock draft of Mel Kiper. As you know, I was kind of analyzing it at the end and thinking, man, I think the Houston Texans could go a different route. However, you let me know how you guys feel about this draft, this mock draft. As always, go Texans. You guys have a very blessed day.